But let's get on to vacuum chucking here. I volunteered to do this to show people who aren't quite up to the Cadillac lathes, such as the one-way or anything above 20 inches. And George covered a lot of stuff. There is a little more, the most basic way to pull vacuum through this headstock is through a lamp rod that was marketed by Holdfast. And this is a standard lamp rod that you could purchase at Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards. I got here early and set it up, but right here is where the vacuum and the rotary happen. Pipe tape is required to get a good tight seal.
Paul, is that a standard bearing that you got out there?
This is provided by Holdfast.
Oh, it comes with the
Yeah, the Holdfast system has the nose cone and this piece. You provide everything, the rod. Actually, no, it comes with a length.
So it seals by a face suction.
It seals tight against the backside, and if you have the Morse 2, you use this nose piece with an O-ring. Now, if you put an extension on, which I have right here, some seal, so that rod could extend through here and stop, or you have to extend all the way through. So now we lost the Morse taper side. So that would require a little modification, which is no more than rubber washers. These are the nuts for the lamp rod. You can buy these in bulk. And just as an example, the nose of this does not have a Morse 2. So we just need the washer. We need a good seal back here. You come through. That takes care of the back, and then you would just use the nuts and the washer. So in the interest of time, that's all I'm going to show you on modifying the lamp rod. Now, I don't know how many people have scoured through Craft Supplies and Packards, and also on YouTube, there's a ton of videos to take care of the front side. The back side and pulling a vacuum is where there seems to be a law to do something with off-the-shelf parts versus buying custom pieces. So George covered reversing on the chuck. If you have a nice piece that you spent a lot of time on that needs nothing but the bottom touched up, it's required. You need to be spinning true when you pull off. Then I poked around on this Rubber Chucky website because I wasn't happy with the nose pieces that came with the one-way system. So I found this nose piece, which seems pretty bulletproof, and I've been using it ever since. They make these for both sizes. That goes on, and it's better than sticky foam and things like that.
That's a one-way piece.
This is the same thing George demoed, only it's little brother. So these are the two chucks I ended up with, because the first one I got on a discount through Mike Nathel has a little wobble to it. That's probably why I got such a good deal on it, which this is a Holdfast, and I believe the reason it has a wobble is because of the age of these seals. So eventually I'm just going to true that up and do what George did here. So I don't know who all's looked around that Rubber Chucky website, he's got a lot of niche-y things that, I mean, I don't see that wearing out. These require maintenance, but One Way does provide the nose piece to this. Did you bring that piece, George? That cover that comes with these? Yeah, but there's a cover that comes, that's like a machine piece. Okay, so one awesome thing One Way does do, if you're gonna go with this seal, you just mount it, you stick this on flat, then you take that, it's the reverse image of this, you hit your vacuum pump, and it draws, it creates that curved seal, so it's not flapping in the wind inside and out. One thing, the only real learning curve I had setting this up, number one, I got this at a meeting, some lady had dropped off a blue fabric grocery bag full of parts, and Ron said that whoever ponied up the $100 could have it. I bought it, not even looking in the bag. This pump retails for like $600. It's a 6 CFM Robin Air, which is a brand name pump. Sheer luck that I got that. Whoever the person was putting it together, they figured out everything except how to draw a vacuum through the back. So I first solved that with the lamp rod. Comes through. So I'd like to run mine around 24 or 25 pounds of mercury. And you need this open loop. This is what adjusts your pressure. So when I was on the Rubber Chucky website, I couldn't help myself buying these. They had this piece is like $12. It adapts to your one-way nose cone that most people never use. So for the 12 extra bucks, it come with the rest of everything. And then I realized it wasn't going to work with my lamp rod. So then the tinkering began. So the main thing I want to show you guys is you can draw a vacuum back here without a lamp rod, without the one way. I'm not sure how many of you guys own the one way or have a Jet or Powermatic product. They come with a copy of this. This is a very good live center, both versions. So the points knock out of here with a tool, which is this tool. And this tool also locks the spindle so you can thread custom pieces on and whatnot. You can make a safe center or whatever to jam chuck with. So the redneck in me said, this thing does everything I need it to do. I just need to mate it up back here and get it hooked to my pump. So then the tinkering began. I spent a whole Saturday playing around. And I made two versions to do this. One is out of the, this is a Nova center. This is harder than any center that I know of. And the only thing I have this for is when you turn a cowboy hat, when you reverse the cowboy hat, you put this inside your 1 1/4 8, and it does not get stuck like an aluminum one. So that's all I had this for like 5 years. But then I realized it come with about 7 accessories. So this one I figure would be the simplest. I took my lathe, the backside, unthreaded this aluminum housing, mic'd the inside, mic'd this hole, the OD of the steel spindle. I realized there's a little bit of room for the air to bypass. So I put some wheel bearing grease on it, put it back on, and that took care of the seal to the spindle. So when I got here this morning, I wasn't sure that the gizmo was going to work on this one. So I took the 2 grub screws out of it, and then I realized this one's threaded on. So I took the white thread tape, put it on the steel spindle, put the white thread tape on the grub screws, put a little Vaseline on the ID of this aluminum, cinched it up, tested it out, and with a little extra electrical tape, I drew a vacuum. From here, no lamp rod out the front. So I'm going to show you what minimal tools and material you need to do it. You need a 1/4 inch steel pipe coupling. And the brass 5/16 hose adapters I have are 1/4 inch MPT. So you go with the white tape, cinch it up. And Ron's been in my garage. He knows I'm a hoarder. I have a one of everything. It just takes a minute to find it. So I looked around for about 5 minutes. Whoop. And I found a length of leftover 5/8 heater hose. This is basically for your windshield fluid back to the windshield fluid supply or a heater hose. One thing to mention, they make 2 grades of this, and I have the cheap stuff. But that's what worked in here. So I went and bought an extra piece once it worked. So to make a long story short, this is my jet live center. I put the rod through the holes in here and threaded that hose on here. Then I butted up the coupling back to back. Takes a little bit of Vaseline to get them on, not on the thread side, and 2 garden hose repair clamps. So then I ended up, this one I made the jet second. This one I was hoping Pete would be here today because I did a little machining to get this to fit. You'd be surprised what materials you can work with on your lathe with a couple specialty tools. Most of them available at Amazon. So this is a one-way chuck. Brass nipple, same coupling. Put it in, get it tight. Now, I'm not recommending you do the things I do. This is the most important tool I use to turn metal on my wood lathe. It's a ski file, comes from Switzerland. The brand name is Swix. I also do a little flea marketing buying old tools, and this is how you check to see how hard something is. If this thing bites on it, it's probably not going to hold a good edge. But to get this coupling to fit in here, plus 2 O-ring grooves, took a thin parting tool and this. So you turn your lathe on, forward, and you just let the lathe do the work. Then you keep it clean, and that's how I got that to fit in here. So once I had these two made up, I was pretty impressed with myself, and I put them to the test. The only negative side about this Nova Live Center, it doesn't spin as free as the one-way or the jet. And I had to modify it with a little duct tape because this OD's larger than mine. This 5/16 tube goes on just snug enough to work, and it comes off to go back to the rod or to the other adapter. But I'd let the cat out of the bag. This one leaks like a sieve. It does not pull. It does not match up to the lamp rod vacuum. And that's the only, I'm positive the leak is coming through the bearings. A lot of these come with this black seal, any of these vacuum accessories, the plastic. A lot of guys that are real purist on running true don't like them. I haven't saw a problem with them. So I've got the nylon seal. You see that you don't really have to crank down on it. If you do have a leak here, a little white pipe tape will cure that. So let's give this a test and see what we can pull versus the lamp rod. It's not bad, but it doesn't exceed 25. You could get by with it. This is the one that I experimented with, tight seal. It's nothing more than the hose to the coupling and the 5/8 hose over the number 2. It's a little loose in this machine. So you got to do a little extra engineering here. It doesn't take much. Now, if I was going to use this all the time, I'd put a thin film of petroleum jelly on it, but I don't need it at home, so here we go. This spins real free, and it pulls up a leak, no leak vacuum all the way through. Joe, can you get the gauge one more time? There we go. So following George, I wasn't sure, I didn't have much cutting edge wisdom or impress you with how many pounds of vacuum per square inch, but it is 14.1.
Paul, what's your maintenance on the pump? I heard somebody ask about a filter. I heard Tim ask about overheating. What is your standard maintenance with oil and things on the pump?
So I have a quart of oil. There's a little bullseye on the glass on here. And as long as you're in the bullseye, you're good. And I'm not sure if George brought up the filter, but a filter is important because we all know you're in a dusty environment. So I've come from the construction industry, and I keep all our specialty tools in a little kit, and that's kind of how I handle this vacuum system. I keep it in the house. These things are known to leak oil, and they sell like a $200 canister you can stick on the exhaust. I put a t-shirt over it. And I've got the same t-shirt. I've been using this for a year. Now, Tim brought up a point that he said he had a real similar pump or the exact one, run it continuous, and he was losing vacuum. I haven't experienced that yet. I'm not saying it won't happen, but I also use it a little different than Tim was explaining to me. If you do get one of these the pumps that require oil, this is mainly for the refrigeration industry. There's one caveat to this pump is you're supposed to start it up in the neutral position, and if you listen to the sound, the oil's bypassing, it's not getting hot. You have that sound. So when you kick it in to engage the pump, you get that. So I mainly, I take the bottom off a bowl with this, and I work on my finishes to a fault sometimes. So I'll have a piece like this, and I might want to put 7, 8, 9, 10 coats. That's what I use it for. So I'm only sanding the bottom and a thin film of finish off to recoat. And it sounds like Tim was running his for a lot longer than that. So if this thing does fail in the future, I'll probably end up going the gas pump route. But for now, till it's broke, I'm going to stick with it.
What is the gas pump route?
The price?
No, you said you're going to go to the gas route.
Oh, G-A-S-T. That's these vane pumps that George demoed.
Brand name?
Yes. That's the one to get. They are available. Retails through the roof. You can buy them on eBay. What's the other one? Mainly eBay. And there's a place in Cleveland called HGR Industrial. They have a surplus of everything under the sun that's from industry. You can, I'm sure you can find one there for less than retail.
Now I have the old fast system, which uses the Venturi vacuum off the air compressor.
Yes.
What is the disadvantage to that or advantage over the vane pump? I know the vane pump puts out a lot of oil that gets in your shop, so when you do finish.
This is.
Yeah. Now what makes the vacuums different? Are there?
I'm no expert on that, on the Venturi. I know you're going to have your compressor reloading all the time, so you got the noise. And I don't know. And one other thing I forgot to mention, to adapt one of these over is you got to seal these two holes with electric tape. But this one leaks like a sieve. This is the most common one. So it's a bit of trial and error. But these are triple bearings, and it's cheaper than spending $140.
Now what I did with mine is, when I had the vacuum running, I put a bead of silicone sealer on it, and that stuck with it, and it sealed it all off.
Between what, the back?
Yeah, like you were saying how you had that air leak, the vacuum leak.
With the bearing?
Yeah. See like on the end of the old fast, how it has that black tape on there? On your hold fast fixture?
This got both sides.
Yeah. The end what bearing is?
Yeah.
Mine seal leaked, so that's where I put my silicone, and that filled that all in.
Well,
Stronger than that.
I hear you. The more I looked at this is just a thin plastic tape is the only backup they have beyond the bearing on that.
So I sealed all of mine with
Okay.
silicone while I had the
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, with this system. The only reason I rigged that system is because I spent $12 on this seal, and this gets tapped into your Morse 2, and you can't use a rod with it. And that's how I come up with that.
Other questions? All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your time.